Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen. Well, you know it's this time of year in the summer, we see lots of wildflowers around, and I have started a sketchbook with wildflowers, and I'm going to continue with today. I'm going to do another entry in my sketchbook. Some of you probably have seen one of my videos in the past with one of the entries, and today I'll do another one with these purple flowers that I found from my yard. And it's really simple and easy to do. You don't even need to trace, sketch, nothing. You just take your brush and paper. You know, these are some of the ones I've done. These are more on the fall side. You know, really delicate, simple. And it's good to pick a theme when you're doing a sketchbook. Can't turn these. See, the colors will change as we go towards the spring. You know, we're getting more spring, even springier towards the summer, wildflowers, and today's entry. So there you go. So leave a comment about what kind of, themes you're working on in your sketchbook. I'd love to hear what you're working on, or if you're struggling with what, a theme to put in your sketchbook. Also, check out my Patreon at ad-free videos, traceables, exclusive tutorials, and a live stream on the top tier once a month. For me, it's just a place people go and support my channel, which I appreciate. You can check it out right up here in a second. And it's just sometimes my videos there are longer. I just did an hour one yesterday of a girl in the lavender field, which I thought was kind of fun. So just give it a check. You can always cancel anytime, no big deal. All right, guys, so let's get started on a wildflower entry on my sketchbook. All right, so like I said, I'm using my Strathmore watercolor travel journal. It's a 5x8. I have a link in the description box. You can get, I think it's cheaper. The cheapest place I found them is on Amazon, actually, than the art supply stores. And I did a tutorial a while ago on one of these, but you can see how I've just been kind of filling this up with these wildflowers. These a little bit darker because they were more fallish kind of flowers. And we're getting more spring and summery flowers. So today I thought I'd grab some flowers from my yard. This is like Blazing Star. I think it's called Lattice. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm sure somebody in here will know. But they call it Blazing Star, and I have a bunch of these on the side of my yard. I thought it'd be kind of fun to paint this. This is kind of like a phlox. Look how pretty the little flower is. We can just think of it like that. Do a little dot, and they're all in the same color family. And this one, I don't remember what this one is either. But so I don't like to generally draw out when I'm going to paint. With something like this, I just want to go with intuitively how I want it to flow. Obviously, this is like a spike flower, so it kind of goes straight up, and I don't really lean. This one can lean, it usually comes in clumps, a bunch of flowers, so they haven't bloomed yet right here. And this one's kind of like branched off. There's a bunch of branches, so I'm kind of envision that. So if I wanted to, I could kind of slightly map out where I'm going to put them. I kind of like just to go with the flow. So I'll be using my Princeton 6 long round, and maybe I'll probably definitely be using the 10 because there's a rounder tip for the top part of the Blazing Star. So I'll just start with simple green. I just use peacock blue and yellow, cadmium yellow deep. And I've got this nice limey, medium kind of green. I can take that same green, kind of put it here, and add some Prussian blue. And we get a deeper green. I have to add some more yellow. See? And if that's so bright, I kind of just tap in a little bit of this burnt umber. You can use a little bit of red too, that will help. Just kind of dull that green down. If it's like too goofy bright, that's what I call it, goofy bright. It just makes no sense. But really, all these greens are kind of the similar colors, although this stem has a lot of purple in it, because the purple in the flower. See the purple? So of course we're going to make some purple. I have bright rose here, and ultramarine blue make a great purple. This is a little more, this flower is more on the pink side, so I'll have to keep adding a little more pink. And it's kind of like mix. I'm gonna get this pink a little looser, activate it. I sprayed it, but so put some more pink here, and then blue, and more pink. Okay, kind of want to bleed that into the green a little bit. So it's like it's not really a brown stem, it's more of a purple brown stem. So if you have the brown, like burnt umber here, you can add a little purple to it. Okay, the pink and the blue. so it's not so brown. If that makes any sense. And the green. So I'll start off with the green, and I'll just figure it's. Use your pinky, by the way. I don't know if I talk about this, but I use my pinky sometimes to help me guide when I use a brush. So I'm just going to kind of go straight down. Really skinny stem to start. I'll kind of get a little thicker now. I know where it's going to be placed. Right, and you see this flower has these little up top, the little kind of bud. So I'll just kind of go and take my brush on the side and kind of just push down, just like this, little green. And it gets a little small on the bottom, so they get a bit bigger ones here. Nothing really hard to do, just pushing your brush. It's nice to hold it this way, like that. Now, towards the bottom, you see these little wispy things. Now, like, remember, the stem is supposed to be like purple brown. You can kind of bleed in that green, some of this purple color that we mixed up. See, because you have green in between. So I'm just tapping a little purple in between those green little buds. See how that works? With the tip of my brush. And then I'll go back with the green and I'll make these little spikes. They kind of crisscross all over the place. They're kind of like this. Maybe a little bit deeper green. I made it the deeper green here. So you see these spikes kind of like all over the place. You want to make it really delicate. Wisping little teenier ones up top, and then it kind of stops from where the buds go. And I have a home studio, so if you hear that noise, it's a garbage day. Making it real, guys. I'm not going to edit it out. Why? And then so up here, you see the spikes of the flower too, right? This is a lot of purple going on up here. So this purple kind of on the edge of these buds, kind of pushing. You see I'm taking the brush. Let me zoom in a little bit. Just pushing on the side. Push, push, push. Nothing really hard to do. You're just, you know, unless you want to do a realistic kind of painting, which is fine. It's not where I'm all about. So then you see these kind of blooms spiking out. I'm going to go back and add some of my fuchsia color. And some of these, you can do the little bud push down like this. Pushing down on the side, and then there's little spikes on the end, and that's how we're going to do that. See the spikes? To make the blazing star. The blazing star! See, I'm very loud now. And I'm going to add this purple, pink. It's a little too purple. I got to get some more pink back in here. Okay. It's like this pinkish violet purple. Gonna water mine down. So you see just kind of like making these little spikes kind of off. Boom, 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 boom. They're kind of wisping all different directions too. And you get a little darker with this color inside here. I'll add a little more ultramarine blue with some brown, just to get the little depth going in here. See how I just kind of pushed it in between those little spikes. So you see a blazing star. I'll go back to the little ones and add some little spikes on these little buds down here. And then I'll get a little funky up here, a little bit more the pinkish purple. 1, 2, 3. Some of these kind of like spiking out. You can make it a little more purple. Doesn't have to be this. Add a little more blue tones to it. And this doesn't have to be perfect. You kind of get the idea. Squint your eye. I'm not going to make mine perfect. It's the blazing star. You just see those little spikes coming off. I do want to keep this kind of delicate though, because if you look at the book that I was creating, the wildflowers are not kind of goofy, they're kind of delicate. So there's the blazing star. And then we're going to play with this guy. I think I'll add some blooms. Same kind of green tones with the first green I did. But this one, I'm going to exaggerate. I'm going to bend it and I'm going to crisscross it. This is where you get creative and change things, right? You don't have to keep this stiff kind of like thing. You want to make it a little more creative. So I'm going to kind of take my brush, start the stem, and go right over that and curve it. Boom. See these leaves? Kind of simple leaves. With this brush, it would take more time to do. So I'll switch out. I might get a bigger brush. Let's see. Get the number 8 long round, right? Make a bigger leaf. And just take your brush. I'm going to make some more green here. Okay. Now this is the simplest method to make leaves. To the tip starts, touches the stem. You're pushing down and lifting back up. Boom, leaf, done. And you pull it back up. Get the little spike. I'm gonna add a little brown to this. Right? Pushing down, pulling back up. Start the tip at the stem and push down, pull back. So it's a nice good spacing between some of these leaves. Tip, pushing and pulling back up. Now it's a one note with this green. Sometimes I take see that dark green on the tip of my brush and just tap where the stem connects to the leaf. Just a little tap. If that one kind of dried right here, I'll just kind of maneuver it. I'll just take some of that paint up. And it's also kind of fun to tap it on the ends too. And you can put some in the middle if you want. I'll change it up. I'll put it one more down here. Again, you just push down. This paint's not loose enough, so push down, pull back up, and get a little leaf. And then at the top, again, a little smaller leaf, right? And then you see these little buds kind of off the flower, and then you're adding a little purple again. I chose more purple flowers, just makes more sense. So here I have a color called lilac. Kind of looks like that. I'm just going to activate it a little bit. Oh, my brush is a little dirty. And I'm just going to put a little, see little bud, just pushing that down. And on the top, we'll grab that purple color, pinky purple color, a little more on the blue side. So I'm adding blue to my pink here. So we have that one little stem. And then the flower is very faint, like white. So with a little purple. So I'm going to clean off my brush, get this purple color really, really watered down. And how I use it for white, purple, is that I tap it on my paper towel. So you take off all the excess paint. And then I can do the little petals. They're still looking a little gray. I want them on the purple side. I'm not really showing it that way on what I'm seeing here, but I want to play around with this. And then we'll do that bright pink center. So I'll grab the tip of my brush, some of that bright rose, just tap in the middle, and it looks like that. This paper's got a decent bleed, not the greatest, but decent. Isn't that cute? I feel like the little bud should be a little more purple, look a little too pink. So I'll go back in here and make a little more purple. And then we have that fuchsia little guy here. I forget what this thing's called. Now this green is a little bit more bluish green gray. So I'm adding a little blue. This is dark. I might add a little neutral tint to it. Sometimes it's always good to check it on your paper towel. See? It's like a sagey kind of green. Watered down. Now it's kind of a stem outside. I can see them like more stem. So I'm going to kind of, now I've got one going here, one straight. I want something on the left. So I'm going to do this bend. There's a connection here. Connect. And come down right over my leaves. I don't care if it's going right over that. It's still more of a dusty green. So I want to add a little brown. Maybe a little more this neutral tint color. Seems better now. And this little bloom here, I mean, it's a bloom, but it's also like leaves. Just gonna push down, connect it. So my color is a little off, but that's okay. Not perfect, I don't care. I like the color green that I created. And I'm pushing down here. A bloom here, and then we've got the bloom that's bright, bright fuchsia. Now I imagine the stem would come off here, which I did because I cut it. So you can kind of go out here and do the same thing. Put a bloom. So you can create the same thing here. If you can imagine what this one looks like, you can do the other one. I'm going to go back and grab my 6. So this is like a fuchsia. I could use a bright rose, maybe add a tinge of, you know, ultramarine blue. But really, it's a little purple in the center, and it's kind of wilted at this point. So I can imagine any kind of, there's just how many petal flowers? 1, 2, 3, 5. Simple, see, kind of gesture. And hanging off. Boom. So I'll imagine this one the same on this branch. Leaving that center, which should be like a deep, almost like a black purple. Now it's fairly wet, so I'll wait till it dries a little bit because then it's going to bleed right into it, and I don't like that. So then you get the main 3 flowers, right? From here, get creative, and also you can get a little bit darker. Going to add some darker tones to this green. Put a little lines in some of these, like your veins and this leaf. Get it more interesting. Remember, I'm making my book kind of like wildflowers that are kind of delicate. So I don't want to veer off the path here. I kind of want it all to go together. I'm just going to add some touches that are not super intense, just slightly, you know, gives it that look. But I do want it to be that loose, simple wildflower look. Right, so now I'm going to go back and add just some grasses. Just take some of my green colors. Got more peacock blue here. I got some green, tinge and brown. Okay. I did this thing, which you've seen in some of my books already. It makes a great grass, a green. Just push down and pull back in. And do one crisscrossing. See, that already looks kind of cool. And then have the leaf kind of crossing, meeting together. Add a little brown in here. Just, you got to make it more interesting. You can't just be sitting there, right? The wildflowers. And then you could add like a stem too. Just put in your own kind of stem with a branch. Or just this is just green, some wispy green. And now it's more interesting than just those 3 flowers, right? That's how the composition changes. You're adding some more interest. I put in a little brown in here, and that green, some more brown tones. Make it more of a branch. Now I could put flowers on that. It's a little too brown. I'm going to lift up some of that color. I'm going to add some green. And again, with the greens I just put in, maybe I'll make this one darker on top of that one. You can add some veins, some interest. Go back into the one again in the hair that dried. Add some deeper tones and some veins. And just a little bit darker on some of the stems. It gets a little too light. And then I'm going to add that deep purple, blue, one black, one blue, a purple, blue, black, in that center. See? Boom. So this is fairly simple. Now I like this, but I think it needs little flowers. And since we're going back on this pink purple thing, maybe try some little blue, like a Verdier blue, just to balance it a little bit more. It's a lot of pink, a lot of purple. Little teeny blue. You're just taking the brush and you're just tapping, pushing down on its side, all the little stems to make up the flowers on this one. Oops, got a little bigger, that's okay. You can also, if you've tried to add flowers and then put the stems in afterwards, I do that often. because sometimes you don't know if that's enough or if it's too much. So I'm adding a little more blue, and then I'll add the stems to connect it. Just change it up a little bit more. And then I think I want to do one more thing. And I'm almost done. Maybe brown, brownish green, blue. Here we go. More of this blue. I always want different greens. Up here, some kind of bendy stem. And I can do a nice long, wispy leaves that connect to it. And then I could put some more bends off this. And a little green. So there's bloom coming off this one. I'll have to wait till that dries. But I just wanted to fill in that space, just to make it a little bit more interesting. And I'll wait till this dries, and behind this, the leaf part, I'll get even darker up in here. If I don't wait till it dries, it's going to bleed into the front. See, and behind. Just like that. And now, what color do you think I should put there, huh? I can't do any more purple. It's just too much. I could do another blue or even the lilac, but I couldn't even do yellow because then it really looks like summer wildflowers, right? Maybe I would do a yellow. Yellow and purple, opposites attract. It's got a little green in mine, up to a little brown. Sometimes it's good to play around with taking a scrap, like right here, this little piece, and you put the color. Do I want yellow in it? I think so. Or do I like more blue? Maybe ultramarine blue, because that's such a pretty color. Maybe the ultramarine blue. Yeah, no. Yellow. What do you think, guys? Yellow. See, squint your eyes. Or blue. Hold on. Or blue. Blue or yellow? Okay, I think I'm gonna do yellow. That's gonna stand out better. That's a good way to try it before you paint. It's a little test strip. And I'm just doing like, almost looks like daisies, just little lines kind of coming down. Boom. Little yellow bloom. And that's pretty much it. Oop. And that's my little delicate, another entry in my little sketchbook for, gonna add some more of this blazing, the blazing star. Is it blazing? I don't know. And maybe another tone on the blue, just to make it more interesting. So one note blue, gonna add another little variation of blue. And you could add some leaves in there, because it kind of looks like berries, right? Get it more interesting. And little spikes, I think, instead. So little spikes, kind of like the blazing star. Be kind of interesting. It really looks like a wildflower. And this is how, look at how simple this took. Didn't take much time to do all this. I just grabbed these from the yard, right? And then you go in and add little details to get a little bit darker colors in some of the places. I'm just going in and adding in some deeper greens behind this one, the shadow of the front one. Do some little lines that you see on the leaves, the veins. But really, this didn't take more than 10 minutes, I don't even think. I might want to go back now that it's dry and add some of that purple into this little stem here. Right? When you do it with the green, it's going to get a little muddy. And now it looks kind of cool. And that's that, guys. Another little trick, I might at the end just add a little bit more bright rose in the center of this one. Clean up my brush, and I might just slightly add like a little edge of pink around it. But that's it. That is another entry in my sketchbook, and I'm kind of psyched about it. I think I like it. So go around your yard if you have flowers. If you don't, pick somebody else's flowers. Go to a field and just look at them. I didn't do a drawing, you know, just do something really, this one's really simple. These leaves are really simple to make. And it's, you know, filling up your sketchbook with a bunch of botanicals or something else that you were kind of working on. Maybe you're at the beach and you want to just fill it up with a bunch of shells. Fill up your sketchbook with a bunch of shells. I'm going to go back in here and kind of tweak some of the things that have bled. But, you know, this is why sketchbooks are great. Pick a theme, go with it, and keep continuing with it. And then you'll be so happy when you finish it. So I'm so happy you came by my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial is up. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. We have a lot of fun over here. And also check out my Patreon, like I said. I have ad-free videos, traceables, exclusive tutorials on the top tier. And yeah, it's still a place people go and support my channel. I just did a recent, really long girl in the lavender field. You can see my picture of it in the Instagram. So take care, guys. Have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you soon.